today's recipe, I'm going to be using frozen spinach. You can use fresh spinach. I just find that with fresh spinach, you have to wilt it anyways, so the frozen is easier. I'm going to use about half of this bag. It's a 500-gram bag of spinach, so about 250 grams, or about 10 ounces or so of chopped spinach. And like I said, you can use fresh spinach, but then you want to wilt it first. With this frozen spinach, you're going to leave it out and let it thaw. I'm also going to use one whole can. It's a 398 ml can, so about 14 ounces of artichoke hearts. We're going to use about 1.5 cups of raw cashews, about 1.5 cups of almond milk. I am using almond milk. You can use whatever plant-based milk you like. I just find that almond milk goes the best in this dip because of the nutty flavor. I'm going to use about 3 to 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This adds that cheesy flavor, and of course it's also very healthy for you. About ½ a teaspoon of fresh ground black pepper, and 1 teaspoon of Himalayan salt, about 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 teaspoon or so of smoked paprika, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and about 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. So I have set half of that bag of frozen spinach aside in a bowl, and I'm just going to let it sit there and thaw while I go ahead with the rest of the recipe. So I'm going to start by soaking my cashews, and I use hot water. You can use cold water. If you use cold water, you're going to need to let it sit for at least 6 hours or overnight. When you use hot water, really all you need is about 10 minutes. So I use hot water, let those sit while I prepare all of my other ingredients. So we're going to start by, I have drained my cashews. They soaked for about 15 or 20 minutes, so a little longer than 10 minutes, but they are softened now. So we're going to dump those into the food processor. I'm going to pulse them a couple of times, and then we are going to add our plant milk into that. Let's add our plant milk into that. So I've got my almond milk here, just putting it all in, and we're going to blend that. Now I'm going to add in my nutritional yeast, and I'm going to put in 4 tablespoons. So like I said, if you don't want it quite as cheesy, just put in 3 tablespoons. 3 is fine. So I'm putting in the nutritional yeast, salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and smoked paprika. And now I'm just going to put the lid back on and blend it until it's all blended. So you want to make sure that you really blend this well so it becomes a really nice smooth consistency because of the nuts. And I have done that. However, we're not done yet. Now I'm going to add in the lemon juice. Pulse it a couple of times. And now you're going to want to taste it and just make sure that it's got just the right amount of everything. If you need to add anything at this point, this is where you do it. Tastes good, nice and cheesy. So now I'm going to add in my artichoke hearts. And I have drained this can. You maybe saw a little bit of water come out there. That's okay. The can has been drained. And you can see these are whole hearts, but I'm going to pulse it a couple of times here just to break up those hearts. Let's have a look, see how those hearts are looking. Yeah, that's good. And now, finally, I'm going to add in my thawed spinach. Or if you've done fresh spinach, you can put that in now. And now I don't want to overblend. You can if you want. It just makes a smoother dip, but I like to leave some of the chunks of artichokes and spinach in there. So I'm just going to blend it so it's all mixed in. So you can see the consistency we have now. It's nice and thick with chunks in there, but small enough that you'll be able to dip into it. So I have turned my oven on to 400, and now I'm just going to pour my mixture into these bowls. Now, these bowls hold about a cup and a half each. So you can do it all in one big batch. Looks like I might have a bit much even for these, which is fine. I can put some in a smaller ramekin. Actually, I think I might be able to get it all in. So I'm putting a little more than a cup and a half in, but I won't be able to put a lid on it, which is just fine. So I'm going to bake one now, and the other one, which I've left not so full, I'm going to cover and put in the fridge, and it'll stay there for up to about a week or so, and then we can have it another time. So this one's going to go into the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. We just want it to heat through. So this is straight out of the oven about 20 minutes later. I like it a little crispier on top. You don't need to leave it that long. And at this point, if you like, you can sprinkle some vegan cheese on top, or you could have done it before you put it in, but it's not necessary. And then you want to serve it up warm. I am serving it up today with some tortilla chips and some fresh sourdough baguette from Cobb's, which is amazing. But you could also serve it up with pita chips or crostinis or your favorite cracker, whatever works for you. Dig in and enjoy.